Let me brief you about myself and also like to know about you. My name is Giridhar and have overall 12 years experience. I'm currently working as manager, like Gen manager, basically in development only. I have started my career as a Python developer and then step by step gradually transition into a data analyst and data engineer and worked as the data principal data scientist. So initially worked as into machine learning and solving ML and deep learning use cases. So and even as the technology got evolved, updated to Gen AI, and then in the previous company we used to solve majorly work with the NLP, using the Gen AI large language models. So currently I work in mix I'm into Gen AI I work with NLP use cases using Gen AI and also have experience in the computer vision also image processing. So and a complete I'm hardcore Python developer from the day one of my career. So Python is my key strength. So and then added all these things step by step so while working in before this I started in Tech Mahindra. I have worked for ADP and then I worked for Wells Fargo and then moved to Optum. So in ADP I was a data analyst. So Wells Fargo turned into data engineer. Both are, the roles are almost same. So in Oracle I was the principal data scientist. So working in these use cases. So currently I'm into trainings. I'm in full time IT professional. So work majorly in Gen AI and the deep learning use cases. And then so also I'm the part of the DevOps team. I mean the deployment team. So MLOps team where we need to take care of everything right from the backend and also the UI. Yeah, that's something about me, guys. And before starting, I would like to know about you and also the expectations from this training. Anyways, I'm going to cover whatever I'm supposed to, but would like to hear from you. Yeah, what do you guys? So just let me know your good name and your
Hey,
current.
myself, Baji Reddy.
Mhm.
We're working in, I'm working like as a Pega senior system architect, but right now we're trying to exploring this new technology. So I want to learn this Gen AI capabilities.
Okay, okay. Yeah, thanks, Pachi.
Hi, Giridhar. My name is Venkat Sivasavardhan actually. So I completed recently my master's and I'm currently looking for job opportunities. So actually my master's is in databases. So I thought, getting into data science ML. So and I got touched into Prakash actually. I saw your previous demo actually in YouTube. Then I got touched with GSP solutions and I came to demo.
Okay, got it.
And I also connected to you LinkedIn actually. I also sent you a message in LinkedIn like few days back, 1 month back.
Oh, okay. Sorry, sorry. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's check.
If you're free, I can connect you personally. Like, no.
Sure, sure. I'll share. Yeah,
Yeah.
deal. Okay. Hari.
Yeah, hi. Yeah, this is Hari Tejamurtila. I'm just trying to I worked with Baji before in the Pega as architect. So I'm learning the Gen AI for Pega already. So I wanted to understand the features of Gen AI and I want to learn more about Gen AI. And also, actually, my wife is also looking to learn, so that's why I'm interested to find out what course is offering, what is the content, how it is going to help. So depending on that, we'll join and learn.
Okay, okay, okay. So let me share my screen. All right, give me a minute, guys. Let me share my screen. All right, guys. So my screen is visible. Before starting, guys, let me talk. How my screen is visible, right?
Yes, sir, we can.
Yeah. Uh, and how many of you have the programming expertise, guys? I'm just asking, like, to just to make myself familiar with you. Into C or Java
Yeah, I worked in C and Java and C++.
and the C++. Right. And how about Sai, Baji, and Sashi?
I have experience in C++ and Java.
C plus. I'm just asking us, but not needed. But just like to just some get it information about you. Okay, and Sai, Baji, and Sashi.
I don't have
There,
that much. Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
I don't have that much experience, but according to the projects I used to pick up and Google out, and I used to work out on the projects and assignments actually.
Okay. Uh, okay. And the reason for asking is even programming is not needed. So that is true. But right. And generally we use Python as a tool. So we use Python as a tool, in terms of program, but let me just explain it. So currently where we stand and what is needed, just mhm. So if you look at this, guys, so this is where we are basically. Okay, what exactly we are going to learn, and earlier how it is in terms of the flow, guys. Initially in 1990s or 2000s, like, right, like, we used to have the basic, even Python or like, the max was there since centuries. So, but like in 1940s or 1950s, 1960s. So, but initially, like, right, like, we used to have the basic reports in 2020s. But as a gradually, as like years are passing, like, we used to like, mainly have the basic predictions, the basic machine learning. So there we never use too much of deep learning. At that time, even data is less, right or wrong. If you remember, so like, even from a childhood or like, right, like in the college, like we still have the floppy disks. Why? Because the size of the floppy disk is 1.44 MB. So right, and right from there, like, we started like, seeing from the floppy disk, we have seen there of the CDs, like, where it used to be, the size of the CDs, like, right, 700 MB, and gradually I've seen there of DVDs. So, right, and pen drives came into picture, like, we used to carry the hard disks, the external hard disk, right or wrong, guys? Hope you remember, right? So external hard disk, like, even pen drive, the size of the pen drive initially it used to be like, 80, like, 1 GB, 2 GB pen drive. So now it's like, what is the size of the pen drive is? What is the size of the pen drive now? It is, it is like, even 80 GB pen drive, 1 TB pen drive is also available. Yes or no, guys? So as a even the capacity increasing in parallel, even like, right, like, the predictions, like, the algorithms, the researchers started exploring like, what to do with the data. So initially we started the like, basic predictions, and then gradually we used to have like, the machine learning in, even so far, even I remember, guys, like, initial days of my career, right? Around 2013, 14, 15, if you just know machine learning algorithms and deep learning, even not even deep learning, just the machine learning, like, people used to hire you. So, and as the days are progressing, like, right, the data is becoming more, like, the, like, right from, like, we are moving from the CDs to DVDs, DVDs to like external hard disks to the next, like, next, like, came, why should I carry everything? Like, we cloud came into picture in the time frame. People started adopting, like, storing everything in the cloud, right? So Google Drives came into picture at that time, right? Like, even deep learning came into picture. Like, as the data is becoming, now my use cases are more into image processing. So my use cases are more into image processing, the text analytics. The researchers started giving more importance to the text. So researchers started giving more importance to the text. So, and then gradually it's like now data is becoming more. So, and in stuff like, going for the classifications and the predictions. So the next one is like, right, like, why can't it generate the new data? So why can't it generate the new content? So like, here came GenAI. GenAI is purely based on the deep learning and the transformer architecture. So right now, currently, like, right up to 2023, 2023, 24, mid of the 24, guys. So like, people started using like, Gen A, like, for generating new content. So now our day in, day out starts with Gen A. Without Gen A, like, right, like, even we cannot like, assume, like, we cannot think how our life is going to be. So mainly the job of the developer. At the same time, like, like, even company's point of view, instead of hiring 10 people, they started hiring 2 developers. And then they just like, give the license of like, the Copilot or GenAI, like ChatGPT, and they started asking them to use that. So, right, like everyone is getting like, have their like, advantages from this. And now it's like, we have Agentic AI. If you see here and there, like, there is having too much hype about Agentic AI. So agentic AI is something like the automation, guys, like, right, automating the workflows. So Gen A is like, say one by one task. Like, if you want to get something, like, no, it is doing it. But in the agentic AI, like, right, like, it is a complete workflow. So for example, a simple example, guys, giving some example, like, say, for example, in the college, schooling days, the faculty is going to carry the attendance book or the register. So they used to mark everything manually. So right, and then on quarterly basis, on like say yearly basis, like they used to send the person, like I mean the number of days attended to the student. Right, wrong? I hope you remember. If you're like 90s kid or like right, like in general the schooling days. So they used to like call our name, like they used to take the attendance. So in the register, right, like on monthly basis or every like quarter before the exams, like before like while giving submitting the reports or the annual report, so they used to give like the number of days you attended. So it will be 80 or 70% or 90% attendance, right? But nowadays, guys, so if you just look at the flow, so like we are having the thumb, right? Like this attendance center, like it is gone. I'm not sure like other universities, but like in I'm doing a PhD from Mehdi Jamshedpur. So okay, they're attending. Now guys, like once like we have the thumb, so generally it happens in like the schools and even the intermediate colleges, guys. So they like wait for like half an hour, 5 to 10 minutes, and if not, so assume that like we have the agentic AI process. So old process is like right, like they're going to like call. They'll wait for 1 2 days, and if the student is not turned on, like they're going to call manually. So to every parent saying that like your kid is like no didn't come to the school, like just check. That happens right now is in this agentic AI. So since like we have the thumb, so back that is one agent. So right, like one agent does like right to collect all of thumbs. So right, and what does other agent is, guys? The other agent is going to like simply so validate like the thumb like collect all the data like analyze the data like how many are absent. So I don't have any problem with the people who came to college. So the problem is the ones who didn't attend the college. So right like the agent like will try to get every all the data. So and the third agent, guys, and the third agent like right like it is going to send the WhatsApp messages to the parents saying that like kid is not coming to school, just like provide a valid reason or something like that. Makes sense, guys? Or the other agent may be sending the mail, Gmail. So saying that like your kid is not working. So makes sense is what I'm saying. Like everything is automatic. Agentic
I
AI is
have a question here.
yeah, yeah.
So you're saying that like this process, like whatever the school process or something, you're saying that okay, agentic AI like will automate these things. Why we
Mm.
need to go to agentic AI? We can write any scripting language, right? JavaScript or any code, and we can get an alert or we can send an email notification or phone notification using the scripting languages, right? Why we want to go to agentic AI?
That is true. That is true. But here we are using the LLM capabilities, GenAI capabilities. Agentic AI means like, so first of all, it is not only for like in the Python. It can be like, we can do that in any language.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. And here, like, we have the concept called as agents. So do you think Java has like all the agents which are already available? So do you think the Java has the Java Gmail agent? So where like it opens Gmail and like it will send the mail. So do you
So
think
we want it right, like we'll have SMTP server, right? SMTP server configured, right? So the SMTP protocol we can call here and we can send an email, right?
so you can send the email, but like that is one. So here like we have some thousands of agents available. So if you want to open the browser, like I have one agent which is already created. So
Hmm.
like for the Gmail, like right, like this for every task, like right, like I have the Gmail. For SMTP server, I have the Gmail. If you want to open, like so for example, I want to create the instance in like so AWS server, for example. So if you have to write the Java process or like Python process, like right, like it becomes lengthy code. Like we have the agent readily available. If it's just like one
Okay.
line, like right, like it is going to invoke that. So we are not going to write any lines of code. So it is just like the software program only. Understand, right? So
Yeah.
agentic is just like the software program. So like where we have some thousands and thousands of agents which are available, just like with single call, like we can invoke this.
Okay, we can call those agents and we can do that. So
Exactly.
can't we do the same process like in Gen AI?
In Genais, see, Genais is something like if you ask something, it is going to give the response. So Genais, like for example, one of the application is ChatGPT. Everyone knows about ChatGPT or Perplexity or right or wrong. So
Yeah.
these kind of tools, if you ask something, like it is going to give some response.
Okay.
So right or wrong. So, but it is
Yeah.
not the end-to-end process. So
Okay.
complexity and all, it is not end-to-end process. You are asking something, you want to get the code, it gives the code, or you are giving some text, you're asking to summarize, so it summarize, or you want
Yeah.
to ask so get some doc, understood, right? In
Yes.
agent,
Yes.
it is the complete automated process, and in agentic AI, there are two ways. So with code, without code.
Okay.
So right, everything is automated. You just need to have the calls. That's it. So with
Okay.
in the sense we write the minimal code that too less code. I mean, so less code, no code. That's it. So with this, we use LangChain, we use Crue, Grog is one, right? AutoGPT, the number of tools available. So where with a minimal code, we can write that. And the other one is no code. So right, if you see here and there, 918 is one, Autoflow is one, Flowwise is one. So where with just drag and drop, we can do that.
Oh, drag and drop. Okay.
And drop,
Then just have a basic question. So who owns like this Gen AI and who owns this agentic AI? So which company owns this AI tools?
So not the companies, first of all, so to go with the flow, there was the first research paper that has been published in 2018. Okay.
Okay.
There
About the AI.
so not about the AI, about the paper, there is one research paper released. So that is attention is all you need. So this is one research paper that has been released. So
Okay.
initially, the main goal is not to make any predictions or not to have the sentiment analysis or the summarization. The initial goal is just their goal is to translate from English to French. So, right, you can see somewhere here English to German, our model achieves so English to German translation task. So, right, improving over the existing best compared to the other models, right, this is the first paper that has been released. English to German and English to French. So that was the main goal that time of these models. So, but
Okay.
and in order to perform this, the translation, they have created one model. So, right, English to German, English to French translation task. Our models establishes a new single model state of art. So, scoring 41 after training for 3.5 days on 8 GPUs. So, but unfortunately, the model that I created, so it started working for other use cases also. So in this process, they will take the corpus of English, right? They trained on, right? So on for 3.5 days, assume the number of data, the GBs and data they have trained. So in this process, right, they collect millions of records, right or wrong. So they have to first of all make it understand, right, the mod, if you train only, it gets responding, yes or no. So in this process, the model started working for other use cases also. So,
Mm-hmm.
the sentiment analysis, question answer, right. And if you observe here, right, the researchers are from mainly from the Google. So I'm not sure about Indian universities. In the Indian universities, right, the research is not the actual research, but the actual research is in the foreign universities. So they try to create the latest new models. Got it right? You can see from the Google. And this is the white paper. So that is got it right. And
Yeah.
it got released somewhere around 2017, 18. So this is the birth of the large language. These are called as large language models. It is not owned by any company. So they're
Okay.
open source models.
Yeah.
Open source model,
Yes. That's the
right?
correct word.
And then
Yeah.
they started, right? So other, organizations or other vendors, they started using that. They started going for their own now. So
Yeah.
even the Python is open source.
Yeah.
So, right.
Yeah.
And the
From there,
model,
they built their own AIs.
yeah. And coming to the model, you don't know the source code. The models are made free. So,
Mm-hmm.
right.
Okay.
So coming to the source code, they don't reveal the source code, but they provide the models. So right, which may be 1 GB model, 2 GB model, right? They made free of cost, and we can access that,
Mm-hmm. Okay.
and we can fine tune. Understood, right? And this
Yeah.
is the flow. Right. And even future, right? But agentic AI is what, currently, but in future, no one knows, what would be the next process.
Yeah, that's true.
So, when, we started weird machine learning, we thought that, right, this is the end of the data science, right, where which gives a lot of predictions. So on the top of this, right, the data is becoming more and more. And then, right, in the terms of, see, everyone is not interested in some number prediction, right?
Yeah.
That was done in the machine learning with more algorithms. So but later on, right, so the taste of it started, changing, from the customers, or from the end users, right? So we have more in number of images, like I need to classify, go for the object detection, object classification, right? And so such kind of use cases. So and then, we went to image processing and the text classification. So this is hot in the market, the text analytics, NLP. So, right, this is the birth of Gen AI, right, in which one of the use cases is the translation, right? I have shown in the research paper. So, right, in the Gen AI, it's ChatGPT is not Gen AI. So, Perplexity is not Gen AI. All right, Cloud is not Gen AI. So, Gen AI is nothing but generating the new content, right? That can using some tools or using your backend programming, it can be anything. So understood, right? So, and
Yeah.
Agentic K is a part of GenAI, which generating the new content, but automating the complete workflows. Like these are basically nothing but some software programs.
Yeah.
Where the programs are readily available. So we don't need to right. Assume that I can create one more agent. Like I can use that. I can make it public. So got it right. And here, we have
Yeah.
to so with code and the less code. So right.
So this agentic AI is going to use any specific Gen AI companies using in the market? Or
Now, people, companies, organizations started, right? So, for example, the tools 918. So, we can do this with code and the same thing, right? Either tool, 918. So, the tools, looks like this. So, we drag and drop.
no. In this course, like you're going to teach this genetic AI, right? So this is
NA
going to
and
be
then followed by agentic AI. So, I'll talk about both with code and also, right? Like how to drag and drop, how to create the workflows.
yeah. So my question, see, Gen AI is a concept, but in outside market we have number of AI generative AI, vendors are available, right? So everybody using might be they have their own coding base, right?
Accordingly, I'll be using that. See, let me explain the flow.
So this genetic AI is going to use any specific company in outside market?
No, not exactly company ones. So let me just make you understand, in the flow. So first of all, we're going to start with. I'm not going to spend too much time on since just to make everyone comfortable. So for a couple of days, let me explain what are the different contents that we have,
Yeah,
and
I think, sorry to cut you. Better you can go to the course curriculum content, what you're going to cover, then maybe everyone can understand it.
that is what I'm to say. Right?
Yeah.
I'm explain whatever, and that's what I'm trying to make you understand. Okay.
Okay.
So in the course curriculum, we're going to start with the Python. Why? Because whether Java or so that is secondary, but the whole journey, generally we go for three languages. One is Python, the other one is React. So we have a lot Node.js and all, but Python is always the hot piece for everyone. So right. And then once again Python itself, we can spend a month of time. If you have to go in detail, in depth, talking about threading concepts, right, object oriented, right, in other packages, decorators, generators, right, this itself takes. But our goal is not to be an Python expert. Our goal is to use Python as a tool. So for this, we are going to cover the required concepts in terms of dictionaries, in terms of different objects, the basic conditions, what are libraries, how to install the libraries. So we're going to make ourselves comfortable. So on and once we're done with this, we'll talk about pandas library, which is a part of the Python. So which is a part of Python. So pandas is one data analytical tool. So a data analytical tool, nothing but data processing tool, I can say. So pandas is a data processing tool. So if you want to process some data, obviously I want to read the data from the file, or you want to connect to some database. You want to read the data from the Excel. You want to process, right? So, right. So in the Python, we talk about different objects like number, string, a list, print, the dictionary. In the pandas, like basically, like, we talk about the series and with two data structures that is called as series and data frame. So what do you call that? Series and data frame. So, right, like, series and data frame. So which is required to know is like, at some point we strictly need this. So directly I can jump into Generative, but like, right there I need to again explain what is number, what is string, what is list, tuple, dictionary, and the set. So right, instead of that, like, let us in the concrete way, but again, every topic is ocean, guys. So pandas like Python, we can spend, I being like, Python, hardcore Python, I know like, what are different like capabilities, but like, it's not our cup of tea. So in pandas is data processing tool, it's my type of data processing tool. Okay, or data processing library. So which is built on NumPy and all, but like, right, our main ask will be the pandas. And once we're done with these, like, right, like, we need to know. So Gene is they're called as a large language model. Even that itself is a model, right? So Gene is not something different, guys. Even that is a model which is built on the deep learning architecture called as transformer architecture. So, and then like, 1 2 days, like, right, like one day max, like we're going to talk about machine learning. So the different types of algorithms, the use cases that we have. So in the Generative, we are not going to use the machine learning. So, but we use the terminology, like, what is accuracy? So what is a model, like, right, like from the file, how to say, like, we need just to know the terminologies. Right. And what are the different algorithms, like, we have and how to create the model. So in this, what we are going to learn, like, different algorithms, like, we have to know, like, what is the difference between the classification. So what is the difference between regression? You have to know. So the different classification algorithms. So, right, like, I've used at least 20 to 30 algorithms. Here, we are not going to create any algorithms. We are going to create the models. So algorithms are the ones which are already existing. Is algorithms are the ones like, which are already existing, which are created by the researchers. If you search this sklearn, this is the machine learning library. So, right, like, there are number of algorithms which are already created. You can see this many number of algorithms are there. So we can see this many number of different algorithms, supervised algorithms, unsupervised algorithms. So we have almost 300 algorithms available. So our goal is to not to learn all the algorithms, but like, you have to know the flow, like, so reading the data, like, how to create the model. So, right, and how to save it to the file. So like, if the model, like, how it works, like, what exactly is classification, regression returns, regression algorithms return some numerical value, classification returns some categorical value. So, right, like, we have to know this. Okay, the use cases in this. So like, my goal is not to make an expert in this, but you have to know, still you have to know whether you attend my training, that is secondary. So, but like, this is the actual flow that you have to follow. Okay, we are going to spend a couple of days here. Why? Because just to make you understand. If anyone asks you also, you should be able to answer that. So these are the algorithms in the machine learning. So what is the need of using deep learning? So what is the need of going for Gen? Like, you have to know these guys, remember. And then coming to the deep learning algorithms. So, right, like in the deep learning algorithms, again, like, basically here we have two use cases. So one is NLP and the other one is NLP and image processing. So we're not going for image processing is, but NLP. So, and before this NLP, like, you have to talk about, like, and it talks about little bit of like, introduction to natural language processing, introduction to NLP. So like, 90, 80, 80% of the use cases, like, will be like more of the NLP only. So, right, and so the different topics in NLP, like, I need to just like talk about this, and then deep learning algorithms. So, right, like, we're not going to spend more time on this, but you have to know, like, the different types of algorithms that we have. The use cases will be only two. So whether that would be text processing or image processing. So, right, at the high level, you have to know this. So if you take this, only this topic, we can spend like at least say 2 months of time talking about all the algorithms, talking about artificial neural networks. So talking about deep learning architecture. So what is neuron? What are activation functions? So what is loss function? Like, what are optimizers? How do you, like, reduce the loss functions? Like, and LSTM is one architecture, like a couple of things, guys. So, but like, we should get adopted to the, like, the terminology, the slang of this. We should know this. So now, like, right, once we're done with this, like, now we'll talk about GenAI. So GenAI, right, it's like, right, so companies are there. So, but companies adopt the large language models. So for example, like, Google Gemini is there. So at the back end, it uses the model at the back end, right? So that can Gemini model, or that can be like, Llama model, like, right, like Facebook is there. So Facebook at the back end, like, it uses some model. They're called as large language models. So even this has a models, but these are not trained on huge volume of data. But if you go for the GenAI models, it is trained on trillions of, like, data available. So right, like, then so what exactly is large language? We are not going to use any company's tools. All right, we are going to, like, talk about the frameworks. Like LangChain is one framework, and the other one is Llama Index is one more framework. So you have to know this frameworks. What is this framework? So it acts like, as in, like, the like an agent, or like, right, like, as a broker, like, between you and the model. It talks to the model. So got it, right? Like, what I call this, these are called as frameworks. So this acts like a model. The agent, like, that connects to the model. There are hundreds of models available. So now it will be thousands of large language models available, right? Like, now, what is LangChain? So LangChain is an open source framework. LangChain is open source framework. So Llama Index is open source framework. Makes sense? What I'm saying? Budget is clear, right? And we use this to connect to the different models. So if you if you open it for, like, the text manipulation, like, converting the image, we have one website available. For summarization, we have different site available. For the research, like, we have different AI site available. Like this, there might be hundreds of sites. But if you open some website, like, right, like, if you post something, the moment you hit submit, it connects to the backend large language model. Makes sense what I'm saying? So this works at the backend. And what is OpenAI? So OpenAI is the company name, the organization name. So Open is not the large language model. Open is the company name. So wherein, like, right, like, right, like, it is like, for example, like, it is provided one application, that is ChatGPT. So right,
No, no,
chat.
I understood the concept. My question, so suppose if you want to practice, right, in the like if you want to create a program based
Mhm.
on this framework, is there any like a tool available
Yeah,
just for trying to understand? Sorry.
I know, I'm yet to cover everything much. I'm not
Yeah.
yet. I'm just trying to cover
Okay.
everything.
Okay. Yeah. Just okay.
Okay, and then this ChatGPT, like, it connects to the large language model. So, right, it connects to the large language model, right? Like, and the large language model can be GPT 3.5, or it can be GPT-4. Understood, right? So, it can be any other tool also. And open is again is the framework. Like, we can connect to, like, the GPT, like, right? Even I can connect to, so the number of tools available. So the number of tools available, that can be Cohere is one. So using this, I can connect to, like, an Anthropic is one, like, right, Grok is one. I can connect to number of tools. This connects to its own large language model. Understood, right? Now, like, way to execute this, like, we execute this. Let me show one program so that, like, you'll have the clear understanding. Right, like, basically, let me show one example. This is how the code looks like. Like, right, some set of, basically, these are the processing libraries. So we are, like, having the libraries like this. LangChain is one, Open is one. We are going to provide the key. So right, and we are going to import, right, from LangChain is a framework, as I told you. So from here I'm importing OpenAI. I can import, like, a lot of other, like, the models as well. So understood, right? And what next, guys? So I'm going to provide the prompt. So once I provide the prompt, like, I'm going to get some response. Ignore this error, guys. Like, right? Like, once I provide the prompt, I'm going to get some error. So to whom I'm asking? I'm asking this to my LM. So what is large language? This is some object name. Object is connecting to what? OpenAI. So what is OpenAI? So Open is a library, like basically, understood, right? So wherein once we provide the key and all the connection establishes to the large language model. I didn't specify any model. So right, basically here we can specify the model also, like within this a number of models available. So that can GPT-4, GPT-3, we're going to provide some model. Understood, right? This interacts with this, and it provides some response. I'm asking something it provides some response. It can be the data it can be from the simple string, it can be list, or it can be from the file also. I'm reading from the file. So right, in the place of this, right, and what is this read and score says? This is the pandas method. In order to understand this, obviously you need to need a little bit of pandas. So got it right. And I'm reading from the file, I'm doing some certain processing. And we have a lot of integrations also. So this is using Cohere is one more the organization basically, it provides its own different models. So we can that we try to provide we have the keys, and then we can either hard code here or we can basically have it in the keys in the local store. And from my program, I'm going to connect to API. API talks to the large language model. So any take any tool, this would be the backend. This would be the backend process that works for you. So that can be creating chatbot, that can be creating the application native level, right? That can be integrations. This works at the backend. So now here we have a number of use cases here. This is one example that I've shown. So Bajit, hope I answered your question. Did I answer the question, Bajit? Okay. So now it's here in this the journey what we're talking about. So step by step, guys. So if you look at this process right right, the different topics I need to add more and more. So how large language models interacts, how the large language model interacts. So we are going to talk about this how the and then talking about there are the portal called Hugging Face. So first of all, let's learn the applications first. So the different models available for the different tasks. So these are the different tasks available. I can do this many different use cases, guys. So once you're comfortable at 2, 3, or 5, right, you can explore by yourself. So that can in terms of NLP processing, that can be in terms of audio. Hugging Face is one, it provides all the large language models. So currently we have almost 20 lakhs large language models. Look at this number tomorrow, it keeps increasing. So we have the large language provided by every company. So we have the large language model provided by the Google, you can see. Right, provided by the Google, right? So
Sorry, Giridhar. I have one question. Can I ask now or I can
yeah,
wait?
go ahead.
So, yeah, we understand like there are large LLMs, there are millions of LLMs, right?
Hmm.
So when you make the call from this program, right, you're giving the API key and how do we know? I mean, is it calling the best model, right? You may be passing some key to either to talk to OpenAI, right? So
Yeah,
OpenAI has a set of large language models, so it's going to pull one of them, right?
yeah,
So you talked about two frameworks, right? Where the frameworks come in the play. In your notes, you had two frameworks,
exactly.
which gets called after a call from LLM, or is it these are the first step in
These are
the
the
call? Oh,
Yeah, understood. This would be the baby steps. So if you observe here, from LangChain is a framework. LangChain talks to many other models. So if you observe here, LangChain for LMs, I'm importing Cohere. Understood, right? In Cohere, right? If so, we are going to provide the model here. So model equal to this is one way. So we are going to provide the model. If you search with Cohere, we have number of models available. So search with Cohere. So you can get number of models. So worry of the Cohere models. So okay, scroll down you can see model name. So the description of that, the number of models that are provided. So right, ChatGPT is one, but it is almost dozens of models available. So got it right. Like for image processing with dedicated model, like these are like from the different vendors, different companies. So which are not completely free of cost. Like we need to like get the license of this. So got it right what
Yeah.
I'm saying. So
Correct, correct. So why I'm asking is in Pega Gen AI, I have used OpenAI, right, to connect to the models and retrieve the workflows to generate the application. That's how I tried doing it, right? So we just are calling a service call API call, and we are calling the API for OpenAI. But
exactly.
what part I don't understand is after we make a call, what exactly that OpenAI service is doing? What is the steps? What are the steps the OpenAI is doing? Does it call internally like this Lang chain or any of these frameworks? Then the frameworks will figure out through algorithm what is the best match model, and they retrieve from the whatever the repository of OpenAI. Is that how it is going to work, or just for understanding high level?
Right. So here, see, there are in different ways to connect. Okay. So let me show all the ways. So I can like connect the models like using LangChain. This is one way. So LangChain talks to many models. So now you're going to specify your model, like right, like that can be OpenAI, that can be Cohere, that can be Anthropic, that can be Grok, so that can be Hugging Face, anything. It has integrations with number of models. Understood, right? So or else like I can like use OpenAI directly. So this is one way, like understood, right? Use OpenAI. And the other one is like use Hugging Face. So Hugging Face. So it even Hugging Face is one like right the open forum. So where it has integrations like you can see 20 lakhs models are available. So which one is best, which one is source, that is secondary. But like I'm talking in terms of like right, like in terms of the connectivities. Understood, right? So like this, and if you observe, like even using Grok, like there are lots and lots of other ways of like using Llama index is one. So like this, we can connect. So if we use LangChain and Llama index, like it has integrations with a number of large language models. If you use OpenAI, that means like you are like you can connect with only OpenAI models. If you use Hugging Face, so I can access all the models that are listed here. So got it, Hari?
Yeah, so we are specifying, yeah, frameworks will decide, like if I call LangChain, that will decide
No,
whatever
no,
the source
it
of the
is not
model. It
going
can
to
go to
decide.
OpenAI or it
We
can
are
go
going
to
to, we are going to
anything, right?
decide. No, let me explain. It is not going to decide. We are going to decide. So to which it has to connect. Understood, right? So for example, OpenAI has a number of integrations. If you say, for example, here, I want to connect Cohere models, I'm going to write like this. So if you want to like connect to OpenAI, then in that case, I'm going to write like from OpenAI, I'm going to use OpenAI. So which is a part of LangChain. You can see here LangChain.lm. So you can write open.
Okay.
So it depends. It is not going to decide. Everything is decided by you. Only thing that is not in your scope is like how it respond. So and it depends on the quality of your prompt. So if the prompt quality is much better, higher, it depends. And also depends on how the large language model got trained. So got it. Like I have like 20,000 models available. It doesn't mean that like all the 20 lakhs models works absolutely fine. 2 million models, right? Understood, right? So we had to do some
Yeah,
research.
yeah. So is the framework how the framework is like? What is the difference between calling directly OpenAI and passing OpenAI to LangChain, right? So
Mhm.
is it like making it more efficient with the framework and algorithms, or like, see, we are calling directly OpenAI, right? OpenAI API call and using the OpenAI, right? For example, if I am creating a healthcare application, if I give my input as healthcare, it is pulling me all the workflows related to healthcare through OpenAI, right? That is the one scenario. Now, if you pass LangChain and pass OpenAI as the parameter, what's the difference between directly calling and calling with LAN chain? Is it performance better, or
It
what this
depends.
framework is doing?
So first of all, just giving some lemon example. So everyone worship not only the single god, right? Some may worship Lord Shiva, some may worship Lord Krishna, Lord Rama, or maybe Allah or Jesus, right or wrong. So it, and in the same way, it depends how the company has the agreement with this. So for example, I take the banking sector, I don't believe the open source. So, right, highly restrict. I don't go for the open source tools languages at all. So in that case, right, company has the tie-up with the OpenAI. It will take the license of that. So right, understood. And the company may provide the customized model only for the banking or the same existing one. Or your company may have some wrapper on the top of restricting what to use, what not to use. It depends on the norms and companies. Understood, right, Hari? It's not that
Yeah,
we're
yeah,
not
correct, correct. So that's the customization based on company's requirement,
a
based
requirement.
on
Say,
their
for
environment.
example, so my company has say I took the license of Pega. So the Pega, I have a number of tools available in the market. So right, I took the license of the Pega, I'll make my employees to work with the Pega. If I take the license of some other tool, I'll make the my employees to work with other tool, right? In the same way. So it depends, and if you have to use personally, then I'll go for the open source, right? But but if you take the company stand, company they afford some millions of rupees in terms of procuring the license. So then the IT team or the team management will decide that I have to use only OpenAI. So nothing is such in terms of performance. See, obviously free ones are always free of cost, right or wrong. So it has some limitations, or maybe it is free one, right? So since that is free one, it may not be accurate, or it not may not be giving the desired results. So why open is the paid one? So why open is the
Yeah,
paid
yeah.
one? It is
Yeah, they are
trying to
giving.
want the quality results, the quality output. Understood, right?
Yeah, yeah, they will provide with a lot of data mining
So
and
it is
provide you a
always
more
trained
suitable
on
models.
trillions of parameters, and it is a proven accuracy. So it is proven accuracy, and this is what it bits saying that this is my accuracy. So OpenAI, but other large language models, they don't do. Why? Because it is trained, right? If you search it even for a testing purpose, so even I have my large language models here. So right, which is trained on some say just lesser data. So I give that 276 so I have few models available too. So it doesn't mean that my model gives always the reliable results, right? It depends on the quality of the data on which I have trained. So got it here,
Correct.
understood?
Yeah, so the long chain will help to narrow down a quality models call. Is
No,
that
no.
what you?
Even in using LangChain, I can connect to any models. So using LangChain, I can connect to OpenAI. Got it. So there are two ways. So use the LangChain as a framework. So LangChain provides lot many options in terms of RAG, in terms of memory management, in terms of chains. So got it right. So it's just a framework means we call something as a framework
Okay.
if it has more functionality, more packages for
Okay.
the framework. So right,
It's
and
making more scalable, so you can make a call to Google and
right. And using
OpenAI or
LangChain,
multiple you can pass.
anything, the number of models available. Got it right. And Open is a dedicated one, so which is only for just accessing the OpenAI models only. So using OpenAI, I cannot access right the Gemini or some other models. Why? Because we are just using these companies' models, right or wrong.
Correct,
And
correct. Got it. Yeah.
it's clear, right, Hari? And using Hugging Face, right, we can access all 20 2 million models available. So Llama Index is
Correct,
one,
correct.
just LangChain. In future, we may get more and more. Even now, we have more and more. But these are the more reliable, more trustworthy. So now on the top of this, there are some thousands of applications built. The thousands of applications are built using this. So you can see all the sites ending with the .a right around something like abc.a. So at the back end, it will be using the GenAI tools, but this will be the back end coding all the times. Even our integrations, we'll be using one among these only. So got it right. Google has some thousands of models available. The popular ones are hardly four or five. Got it right. So any questions, Baj, any questions?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
I hope I answered your questions, like what you're asking.
Yeah. I got it. Yeah.
Actually, I'm telling step by step, right? So I don't want to step like somewhere in the middle. So that is the reason. Just I stopped you and like saying the complete. I mean, came with the complete flow.
Okay.
Okay. So any questions? Any questions? Says Reddy, Hari, all good.
Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah.
Okay. So now is like here to do. One is like first of all learning the applications use cases. So now all these tools like right now in the hugging phase or like right like so not all the model does everything. So there are like a few models like popular for like the text generation. So see guys like that these are the different tasks available. So I can do different tasks like in terms of computer vision, in terms of natural language processing. So in terms of like right like multimodal means like it does like all the different operations, audio related, video related, text related, images related. It does see there's something like any to any. So any to any means like it does text processing, it does like audio processing, video related. So like right, image processing, it does everything. So there are few models, select any model. So for example, object detection. So these are the different models. So which one to use like in the best of the worst? Like generally I follow this approach like most downloads. So trending ones like most like so that I'll get to know like right few models are downloaded for like so millions of times. So most downloads like hidden thing like we can say look at the count guys that's it's been downloaded this many number of times. So you'll get to know and few models are really popular like right sometimes we don't have any options. If you work in the organizations they'll ask us to work with only with that model. So okay. And we're going to talk about this guys, but like again, so it's not this is not our like proper space to get into deeper, but so you should be comfortable. If someone asks you, like even from interview point of view, can you name some machine learning algorithms? So you have to talk about that algorithms. What are supervised algorithms? What is the meaning of unsupervised algorithms? So what are classification like right? That is what I'm going to make you understand you. So only on this machine learning we can spend at least 1 month of time. So then the course becomes almost like 6 to 8 months of course, but it's not needed, guys. So if you're like say 2020s or like before like to have started career somewhere around 2010 to 2020 2020. So that I've seen personally. So if you from 2014, if you just know machine learning algorithms, companies to hire in India, I've seen many people. So right, and later on, like right, the maturity increased. Now, like the focus more to shifted to the deep learning. So you have to know both. And then, like from 2018, 17, 18, 19, that is both people started using the cloud like anything. So more service came into picture, like in a cloud added to my job requirements. Like they made like mandate that you should be have the exposure to the cloud as well. So done with this, and right, the both of like this journey is somewhere in 2018, 19, but it came to limelight in somewhere around like 2023 only. So why? Because like it's the birth of like the GPT-3. So like that is where like there's a birth of GPT-3, right? If you see this one, guys. So yeah, so here, so the first research paper started somewhere around this. So from 2000, like say 18, 19, 20, like it's not much popular. So GPT-1 started in 2019. So but no one focused, no one cared. Why? Because the accuracy is less. If I'm asking something, like I got something. So even GPT-2, like it is trained on like say 120 or 130 million parameters. So you can see even that time it is not much popular. It was not much popular. So accessing openness, like somewhere I mentioned this even in terms of the cost. Okay, even like that time it is not much popular. So but like yeah, you can see here. So GPT like trained on like 110 million parameters, not much popular. So right, it is a failure. So 1.5 billion parameter, even like this is a failure. So why? Because like it is not giving exact result. I'm asking something, it started giving something. So how come like companies or like how come like even individuals trust this? So right, but GPT-3 start till this like this are the failures. I don't say failures, but first one is pure flop. But so this is a failure. And when GPT-3 came around 2022, the accuracy is less. It started trying. It is being trained on trillions of parameters. So scaled up version of GPT-3. So right, it is just capable of few shortly. I'll talk about all these terminologies, guys. Got it right. So right, and then and then people started focusing from 2023. So that then it got the attention. So it is the attention of this, right? So somewhere around 2022, you can see the birth of this. It came to limelight in 2023 because of purely ChatGPT. It started giving results, better results. So now in the 2025, we are using GPT-5, tons of models available. So if you browse also, guys, you'll get at least if you search with different large language models. So you will get some hundreds of models. These are the popular ones. So Llama is even this is provided by the Facebook. So right, like the Meta, this is Meta tool. So provided by the Meta. So family of the large language models released by the Meta, the more popular one. So you can see, if you just see the list, you'll get some. So not everyone is not popular, but you can see the whole list like this. So you can see the parameters that's been trained and right, the use cases of that they are got it released. You can see on the left side, you can see all the models available. So it is more a list of the GPT model. Number of other models are there, guys. It's a few listed ones, but think about unlisted ones. So got it right. So, and what exactly we're going to cover is first of all, we're going to talk about the use cases, first of all, in terms of how to use these models. So we'll make ourselves familiar here. So we'll make ourselves comfortable. So, right. So in terms of using this, the different ways of accessing. So even the companies all the times you may not initial days they'll procure the license. Why? Because just they want expertise. So once they get the expertise, then they'll start they'll ask us they'll go for they want to reduce or leverage their funds, right? In terms of cost cutting. So they'll go for the open source ones. But because people started adopting so to the paid ones, they'll go for the open source ones right. So all these are different libraries, guys, easy to use, but you have to know the flow, the structure of this. So and in this process, we are going to talk about a couple of things first of all, in depth, large language models. So large language models, what are I discussed about, but in the concrete way. So the usage of Hugging Face, right, Llama Index, OpenAI, LangChain, all the different ways. So I'll talk about applications, in terms of sentiment analysis, what exactly sentiment analysis, what we do here. So right, in terms of what next case, in terms of there's one more use case, Q&A. So I want to go for the language translation. I want to go for the models used in the language translation. So right, you'll be comfortable with this case. And then summarization is one use case. Summarization is one use case that we'll be talking about this. And what next, summarization, Q&A we talked about. So we'll talk about the use cases and any name entity recognition is one. So whatever I just mentioned few. So these are the different tasks basically. I just picked few from this case. I just only picked from few from this. So these are the different tasks available, right? In terms of video, if you pass some MP3, it understands, it will use whether it is positive sentiment. So negative sentiment, the number of when sentiment analysis is one part. The sentiment can be from the text, it can be from the images. The number of use cases, other use cases, image to text. All right. So we'll talk about this first. And once we're comfortable with this, we'll talk about the LLMs. So we'll talk about LLMs in terms of the RAG. So RAG is if you want to make it private. So I can't expose everything to a large language model. So I want to keep my data private. So we'll talk about the RAG. So okay, so we'll talk about the RAG. So how to store the data privately, securely, how to read from your local storage. We're not going to completely rely on the large language model. So we're going to just use a large language model capabilities, but to read everything from your local storage. So right, in terms of LLMs, input output operations. So like, input output operations, this is one topic like, that we are going to talk about this. So, right. And next, like, now we are going to talk about the memory management. So the memory related, like, right, it is associated with chatbots. So you want to create the chatbot. So we'll see this guys, like, right, how the chatbot gets created, how the backend functionality works. And also like, we'll like try to like, deploy that in like, right, using Streamlit is one tool. So also deployment in like, say Streamlit, we'll talk about this. So like, say in the companies, I want to give some demo. So I cannot like, write, I cannot like, just build a project and then I cannot give the demo. At the same time, the management is not interested in the backend coding. So backend coding is only for the developers, but not for the leadership. So leadership will be all interested in like, displaying something on the web, on the browsers, but not the backend. So if you want, but you have the backend code, but like how to display something on the web quickly, like, within 5 minutes, we'll see this using Streamlit. So, right, like, and next, like, in this, we talked about input output, RAG is one, so memory management, right, like, the chatbot development, and also, like, right, like, the build some private chatbots. So, like, private, like, that is only, like, from the RAG, so chatbot with the RAG functionality. So, like, chatbot, like, with RAG, we'll talk about this. Okay, so and then like, talk about what exactly is agent, like, LMs with like, agent, like, what exactly there are hundreds of agents available. So Wikipedia is one agent. So right, like, we'll talk about this in detail. Okay, so calculate is one agent. So everything like, agent is nothing but understand some software code, that's it. Makes sense, like it can be like created in like Python, but most preferably in Python is, but it can be any language, but the agents are available. So for every like, task, like, we have the agents available. Right. So which is, it can be the part of like an OpenAI, it can be the part of agents, like you'll see multiple agents here. Somewhere like in here it is listed. So the number of agents available here. Just need to check. So okay. So and then like, next, once we are good with this, we'll understand the flow. So these are with the code wise case. Like we're going to write the code. But again, like, no, we've not been like an expert in this, but you just need to know the core concepts and then we'll jump into this. So and then like, we'll talk about agentic AI. So like in this agentic AI, like, right, like again, anyone who has to implement, like, it has to be implemented like only two ways. So like, right, like, with code, and the other one is no code. So with code, no code. There is no other option also. So right, like, with code, like, we are going to use a LangChain framework. Like, we are going to like, create the agents, like create the workflows. So this is called as multi-agents, or like, right, like we can call it, if it is single agent, like, it is just, so we have only one single agent, like, right, we can make my agent talk to other agent. So I can create multiple agents, right? Like, that is a part of multi-agents, and this is the complete workflow. And in the no code, like, right, like, we are going to see the tools like 910 is one tool. So right, and the other one is like, flow wise. If you know one tool is, other tools are really simple. So like, right. So but in the organizations, like, right, they haven't started adopting these tools, guys. But in terms of automations, 918 is the popular tool. So there are number of like, right, like, agentic AI tools available. So Flowwise is one tool. So Flowwise is one tool. So this belongs to some organization, guys. So all these are like, free up to some extent, right? Like, right. But companies, like, they will procure the license for this. So, but for initial days, right, this is not still evolved. So they made it free, but after a couple of years, like, they will, once everyone are used of this. So currently 910 is like, one tool that is more popular. It is a pricing too. So like, for like, the initial like, use cases, it is free. So, but like in terms of, you can see, like, right, in terms of licensing and all. So, but currently it is free of cost. Like, I mean, not everything, but like in the initial, for the initial use cases, you can create like, so, but like as a later on, days are progressing. So months or after years, they will make it like, paid on. Why? Because people start like using this, right? And right, like this case, Flowwise is one tool available, 980 is one. So building agents. So like now auto GBT is like one more, like it is one more. Uh, so like platform for building the agents, like now for agentic like this. So like for every week, like a couple of tools are coming to picture, but these are the popular ones, guys. So we'll talk about this. Like we'll try to create the workflows, right? Like 9 so this is basically I'm talking about the workflows. So this is how the typical workflows look like. So right, one agent interacts with other agent, like one agent talks to other agent. So like one agent like talks to other agent. So we're not going to write any code here using this kind of tools. Like we're just going to create the workflow, and everything depends on the prompt. So the quality of the prompt. So when you click this, like it connects to like Postgres, like right, like I want to compare to that, it does. So we can merge it, like this is how the typical workflows looks like, guys. So like this, you can create n number of use cases. We can create a number. I can like make my agent to talk with. So like once you provide the details, it talks to Slack, like right, like it talks to the Gmail, like anything is possible, guys. Okay. So any questions, guys? Any questions for me?
So that the flow and the model what you were showing in the in before, right? So that is also built in Python only.
That like we cannot guarantee. Most of tools are built. So even if you use ChatGPT, everything is created in Python only. But like you cannot guarantee. So like agent can be in any language, but preferably Python. So and here using this 98 tools, my goal is not to explore that agent. My goal is to how to use that agent. We have some hundreds of tools available. So right, most preferred like language is Python, which may be created, but it can be in React, it can be in Node.js, it can be in Java, it can be anything. So, but in like our agents like in Python that we are going to call that directly. Like we are going to create that in Python. Understood, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And this is the typical workflow, guys. Like that we are going to follow. Yeah. So any questions? Any questions? Hari, any questions? Baji, Sashi, any questions for me?
No, I'm good. Yeah.
So if everything is
Yeah,
fine, we can wind
I'm
up.
good, Giri. Actually, like so it's very good demo. So yeah, so anyway, like I'll go through the recording again because these are completely new concepts for me because I work like mainly on the reporting side
Mhm.
and the Oracle tools. Yeah, so yeah, like it's completely new concepts. Yeah, but anyway, it's a good demo.
Yeah, even don't take a demo, guys. Like just non-sharing session. That's it. Like it may be the beginning point. So right. So
Yeah,
even I'm like a working professional. Like I do work, I do train. So I go for the corporate trainings. So like based on my time, like on everything, like I work on the freelance projects. Like what are the possibilities we have? Like I'll go for all the ways. So just like even I didn't like demo showing the PPT and just like turning the slides. And we're not in
yeah,
page also, like just to look at the PPT. But this is the reality, like that you have to know. That's it.
yeah, yeah. And what will be the duration, Giri, of this course?
Duration like count this as like 45 days. So around 45 days. It will plus or
Okay,
minus like right 1 2 weeks, but around like count it as 45 days.
and it will
Yeah,
be like 1 hour
can
or
you
like
go?
what's the duration? Sorry,
So duration will be 1 hour per day.
1 hour per day.
1 hour per
And
day.
what will be the title, Giri? Like after like this course is completed, so what will be this title in our resume? Like we need to mention like
Uh, you can add like multiple ways. Like you can like add the capabilities of GenA. Like you can call yourself a GenA developer, or like you can call your expert in integrating like the GenA like in our current applications. So at the end of the day, we're not going to create the GenA application. So most of us will be looking for the integrations only. So integrating with Pega or integrating with our internal applications, like or building our applications internally using these tools that can be for sentiment analysis, anything. So and like you can like expose yourself as an like Gen agentic expert. So why? Because you'll get to know the complete flow. So what is agentic AI? How to use that? Even in one more thing is, remember. So there is no one, like no person called like the agentic AI expert, or like right, like master in agentic AI or the Gen AI with 10 to 15 years experience. There's a market for the hardly for like 4 to 5 years. So not even 5 years, right from 2023 only people start exploring this. Like so, this is the like the age of the like Gen AI developer in the market. So based on that, like we are going to like prepare a resume. Like if you say that like you have experience in Gen AI for like 5 to 10 years, also like that doesn't work. So and you can add for that like you can like add the lines like that you have created like agentic AI workflows in terms of automation. So in terms of completely automating your workflows, like right, like you can add the agentic AI capabilities. So right, like
Oh.
but not more than 3 to 4 years. Why? Because like if you say that I have like Gen AI experience or agentic AI experience for the past like 10 years, also that is not the reality.
Then how like like say for example I have like if you have like 20 years experience, so like our previous experience will be like in different, say for example reporting, like solutions architect something, and like last 3 years like say for example if I'm working like on Gen AI consultant, so can we add that like
We
will
can
that be
add,
resume?
so we can say that like you are the part of integrations. Like see, first thing it right. Your 20 is like see, no one has the reality of 20 experience in the same technology.
Yeah.
That is a reality, like right? And it depends first of all how you showcase your profile, and other thing is like how you manage the interviews and how to use Gen AI here. So one way is like you are like and we cannot like build the large language models from the scratch. We cannot add that. So even though like we do that, like companies are not in situation to create their large language models. So you can like go for like that, like you have worked on multiple use cases where in terms of like getting the sentiment analysis, or the summarization is one, like to help the customers like in terms of like adding the value adds so and so. And the other one is agentic AI work process. You can use agentic AI like anything, like right, in terms of assume that like you're like completely doing some manual process in Pega or like some other tools. So you can use agentic AI that like we have automated these tools. So right, so that like we have saved this many hours of time in terms of revenues to the customer. So, right, you're
Oh.
not to have the 20 years in the same technology, like, gradually, like, right, the initial maybe you may be the Pega developer or like, Java developer. So for initial 10 years, like gradually, like, in other company, add the profile, like, right, like you work for like, machine learning or like machine learning as a scientist. So for 3, 4 years. So, and then add last 3 to 4 years, like, for the journey. And you are going to take some project where you are going to add like you have worked extensively in the data processing, and you have used the large language models like right to like to leverage your skills, or like basically to reduce the working time. I mean that was in terms of processing. Got it right what I'm saying?
Yeah, got it,
So
Giri.
yeah, and even agentic work process, like we can say it like this is a manual process, like or Pega or like some other tool, whatever we did, like this is a manual process. So then like we automated right from like building that, like processing that, and right from sending the mail alerts like right to the end customer. So that like it saved this many like millions dollars, or this many like rupees or whatever. I mean the time, in terms of time. Only thing that you are going to say is like you are good with the Gen AI capabilities and the agentic AI capabilities. So you have to like make the like interviewer like understand. See, even practically guys, even interviewers don't have like more than 3 to 4 years experience in this Gen AI or agentic case. Even it's just like the baby, like having like people are there in the market for the past 1 year. So even like in terms of agentic AI, even I'm the one of them. Like but Gen AI and all I have worked agentic AI. I am started working, but understood right. So, but even interviewers no, they doesn't know perfectly. At least like it is not still matured. It won't be matured for at least 1 2 years. After 2 years, even let's take Java for example. The Java started around 1990s. So right from like say 2001, 2002, 2010, if we just know Java, like people is to hire. So why? Because initially people are less in the market, but now, so they will screw you like anything in the Java. right or wrong. Like if you go for any Java interview, they'll ask number of frameworks, like the core language, the advanced concepts, everything. So why? Because it is matured. If you go for any data scientist role purely based on machine learning, so they will screw you like anything. Why? Because now the machine learning is matured in the market. Everyone knows machine learning. I mean, who is working, I mean to say, as a data scientist. So, but even it is the same, like, even like now Agentic AI, Gen AI is in the same place. So for 1 2 years, like, right, or 2 3 years, max of say 2 years. Why? Because people are like gradually started adopting, but in terms of use cases, but they don't know the real capabilities. People talk about the RAG, but they don't know about the RAG. So people are talking about Agentic AI, but they don't know about Agentic AI, how to build that.
And
So
how the calls are like, Giri, for this? Like, do you think like we have a lot of calls like we are getting? Because I know the market is tough. So how the market is like for this Gen AI? Like we can expect.
market is tough, that is true, but see, so openings are there all the times. Even during like decision time, also like we have the openings. But the other thing is like it's about all about your skill set. Like just if you want to make yourself unique compared to others, like right, assume that 100 profiles where so your profile has this agentic AI or Gen AI, like right, the capabilities of this obviously like so it'll be top 5, top. I'm telling in general. So, right. But calls are there, but calls are not there if you're stuck at the same place. So I had a person like I'm having 20 years experience, like, but I'm working only in core Java or advanced Java. Like, I'm in like more qualified because, like, the same task is done by now, like, even 1 year, like, person having experience, right or wrong. So just like he's going to learn some basic core or advanced, like, he's going to use some tools, like, he's going to build the entire application. So, but the same 20 years or 25 or like 15 years experienced guy, like, he's good at all these technologies. He has upskilled. Obviously, like, we have a lot of market. I mean, that's from experience. I may be wrong. So, but that is what I see. Like, I have seen from experience, like here and there from my friends, like even myself. So I do attend interviews, like I do take interviews, like, right, like, it's from my experience. I may be wrong also, but just don't count, like, whatever I taught, but this is from experience.
Okay. Thank you, Giri.
Okay.
So I have one question, right? Just to understand, right? So where actual Python program are they using directly? Are they calling through some functions or through their application? We call the Python program and then call the Gen AI, or how are they going to call the Python? Like we write a program in Python, like you calling the model and all the steps you have shown, right?
Exactly.
So where does this Python program gets called?
Everywhere, right from day one of our training, so till the last date, other than like agentic AI workflows using 910 tools, so we are going to use Python. So Python is not just like we're not going to learn, but see, it is a part of the programming, right? The whole journey. So everywhere, if you take this example, like even this line is like importing libraries, so it's in the Python. So setting this around, look at the syntax. You just need to know the syntax. Calling these libraries, like you have to know what is a directory, like right. Next, like what next? So you have to know, like what is this class, what is this object? This is Python. I'm printing something. You have to know. I'm writing object dot method name. You have to know this. So right, and then like this, like you have to know. For example, this is so. What is the type of this object? This is the list. So if you know programming only, then Python, like you know that it will be the list.
Correct. So I got that right. So I did Unix, C++, and Java programming. I understand that looking at that program, right? So what my question is, like tied to the jobs and all, right? So if we develop the Python code, right? So, like they are calling this Python program in their current applications, or they are calling in their bots, or in like any how you, based on your experience, how it is getting used for the newcomers job, right? So we need to understand how to relate our current role and job, how it can be used, right? For example, I'm working in Pega, so now I learned how to call Gen AI API calls
Okay.
within the Pega and get the models. Based on the models, we pick different objects of the models like workflows and what data we need, and then we create application That is, Pega is taking care of generating code for that. And we are creating the application using those model, and then we run the application. So
Okay.
is it the similar way, or based on how in industry, other companies, how they are utilizing this, right? Now we learn how to call these existing models from Python. We know how to write this Python program. We know how to use the syntax of Python. Then is that good enough, or do we need to learn like deep learning, or learn at least to some degree how LLM models are created, or I mean, like, what is the depth we need to know, right? Only how to use in Python program, is that good enough? Or do we need to learn
Comfortable
some
with
other?
syntax, right? You just be like more comfortable in terms of the syntax. I was telling, right, like only on the Python programming, you not it's not mandated to be an expert in this, and you not need be an expert in this. So, but at the same time, like right, if you have to modify the code, if you have to customize the code, you have to know it, right, like how it works in the backend. So, got it right. So of course we have the number of Gen AI tools available. That's what everyone does. So, but like if you want to modify the code, so you should be in the situation where you at least understand what it does, right or wrong. So at that level,
That's correct. It's better to know how it works and how to use it. So, I mean, are they directly using Python to call, or how is the application? Like, if you think about a real-time application, right? If you can throw some light on how it is used in the real-time usage, right? You take a banking or healthcare or any domain,
Mhm.
how it is, how they are calling, like we understand, we can write, we learn how to write Python, we complete the Python code, right, the program, right? Now how it is going to be used in the other areas, like they are going to wrap this in a different application, call this program like a service call, or is it there are other
With the
methods they
help
are
of
using?
APIs, with the help of APIs. So for
Okay.
example, let's take like right, like I have so hope my screen is visible now.
Yeah, we can see, yeah.
Okay. So now this is a website. So this is built in some React, or it can we can build in Python, Flask framework, or Java. It's not our cup of tea. Okay. So a chatbot for your documents. So here, if you upload something, so basically it is going to read everything from there. So say for example, let me just pick so documents. So just GPS, no, just so I'm picking. Let me pick some document. So just a bit. All documents set Civil Score India. Okay. Okay. Actually, I need to set the API keys. So basically, actually, when I need to create the open API, and then like it is not set already available. So now, for example, I'm trying something. So if you ask something, it will give some response. So now, like right? You being in UI developer, do you know what is happening in the backend? You don't know. Yes or no? So now,
Yeah,
like
yeah, I.
the moment I
Mhm.
type here, like it like connects to the backend. It may be via API call. It can directly or indirectly. So
Yeah, correct,
building
correct.
this UI is not my job. So got it right. Like I ran this application. This application is running because I started running this. So and what is this app.py? This contains my actual source code available. So what it does here, it is going to grasp everything from this. The moment I type something here, so assume that I uploaded the document here. Okay, and I started typing. So if I started typing, right, it basically, this is the code that it works at the backend. So there's some sidebar, right, you can see this is my backend programming. So, right, and the moment hit submit, it starts processing. So it is taking my PDF, right, PDF, it converts the PDF to the text. I'm converting everything to the chunks, right, in the embeddings. I'm storing everything to the vector database. So now the database is available. So okay, I started asking something here. So upload files, and I'm asking some question. So it should respond. So got it right. It responds from it, like whatever query that I type. So it gets converted to the embeddings. Embeddings are nothing but the numbers. It is going to check in the vector. This is my code. Understood, right? So if I make the call, that can be like a direct, like, processing the call to the backend, or it may be API call. So this is a backend code that is working. And how this backend code is being created, like, the same language chain, like, PDF is there, still a lot of other things are there. Understood, right? So now it's
Yeah,
very,
yeah, yeah.
like, so if you're the Python, like, I'm the front end developer and also back end developer. I know both. I know what's happening in the back end. Understood, right, Hari?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Understood. I mean, it's the concept-wise, it's
No,
similar
it
to any
depends.
other development. Yeah.
Exactly. It depends on the project. Like, in the projects where I work, like sometimes I'm the single point of contact. So, right, individual contributor, IC role. So, like, for my projects, like I have created the UI, I have created the backend. So I have to like do the complete backend processing. So, like, in terms of like, the agentic AI, whatever it is, got it right. So, like in few projects where I work, like, I used to mainly focus on like, right, like, the model building only. In the initial machine learning and deep learning, my goal is just to build a model and then, like, right, upload the model by creating the version and then upload to some bucket object store. So few projects, as I told you, like, I had to create the UI, I had to create the backend, I had to create the database, like, right, for developer person for creating the end-to-end application. So that is one. Okay.
Okay. Okay. So based on this course, we can learn and create the Python programs to call specific models, and that model can be used in any workflow we can build in the application.
Exactly. And then, like, the tools like Streamlit is one tool for the debugging purpose. I can use the tools that I've shown and we can quickly build the UI also.
Yeah, yeah, got it. Yeah.
Okay. So all right, guys, if everything is fine, let us wind up for the day.
Yeah. Thank you. I think yeah, it
Okay.
was a good
Yeah.
demo.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Yeah, all right, guys. See you. Yeah, take it.
Yes. Bye.